Okay, so let me see. Let me look in the chat. Say hello, so I know that you're here, so I can see you in the chat. Let me know that you're in the conversation. Let's see here. I see Nakia. Hey, Nakia! Or Nakia. I said Lakia. Sorry, Nakia. Nakia. Now that I've met you, I can put a face with the name. So that means a lot. I'm gonna tell you, Nakia, that's a bad black woman. Much respect to you, sister. It's so good to see you. And yes, you're right. George Fraser is the best. I did a great interview with Dr. George Fraser, who is America's leading networking guru. He is the guy that really breaks down one of the most important things the black community has to do, which is to come together. He helps you understand how much wealth is created in your life when you come together, and also how much wealth is created in our community when we work together. And that isn't just feel good talk. That isn't just, I hope we get lucky. That's real, actual economic theory. That's actually proven that when people come together and they are transactional with one another, when you're transactional with the people that you care about, trade increases. According to economic theory, it increases something called utility. Utility is basically happiness. Because they had to figure out in economics, okay, we talk about money, but what if there is no money? How do you measure something that's more important than money? Because sometimes money doesn't really help you achieve the goal. Money is a tool to help you achieve an objective. So the concept of utility is just happiness. Are you better off? Right. And what they find is that most of the economic models show that when people come together and they have trade, there's higher utility. So, for example, when the United States and China stopped trading with each other, when they started fighting with one another, global utility started dropping. Therefore, global wealth started to drop because people were trading less with each other. If you have a best friend and y'all are hanging out and kicking it and having a good time and everybody's happy and you're loving each other, and let's say that they're even a friend with benefits, right? So there's more utility, right? It's a good relationship. Everybody wins. And then let's say you get into a fight and you get mad at each other and you're not talking anymore and you say, well, screw him, I ain't talking to my friend no more, whatever. Well, then you are losing at that point. Your utility has dropped, and that's why you feel that horrible feeling in the pit of your stomach, because you've had a real wealth loss, not a money loss, not necessarily a financial loss, but you've lost something in terms of wealth and utility. So what Dr. Fraser was talking about earlier is right on point, and I endorse that message 100%. So give me 1 second here. I want to talk about something here. So one of the things that I was inspired to kind of talk about today actually has to do with a quote. Somebody put this on my Facebook page, and I love quotes like this because they give me opportunities to really dig into specific concepts, and it has to do with rich people. And I saw a comment, a quote where somebody basically was quoting a guy I've never heard of by the name of Seabold or something, who basically said that it's a myth that rich people work harder than other people. Basically saying that, if that's true, then why is it that the people who make the low wages are the ones doing all the labor? And I think that's a legitimate statement. So Stephen Saleta, I don't know who Stephen Saleta is. Maybe you guys know who he is. Maybe you all can educate me on this. But either way, I appreciate Stephen Saleta because he's given me something to talk about today, because I want to help you understand something about what they call the wealthy mindset. So here's what he says on this quote. Stephen Saleta, some guy, I don't know who he is. He looks famous because he's got a microphone in front of him. So I guess he's a speaker or something like that. And he says, in American mythology, people are rich because of hard work. So he says it's a myth that people are rich because of quote unquote hard work. Yet nobody can explain why those who do all the actual labor have no money. That is a deep statement. And I'm not here to even disagree with the statement, because I told you guys I'm not going to argue with people too long on things like this. I'm okay with agreeing to disagree on certain things because you have different mindsets. You have people on the left, people on the right, people in the middle, people all over the place. And and so when it comes to free enterprise, wealth creation, etc., there are a multitude of mindsets that you can embrace. And I'm not here to say that those who work hard are less worthy than those who don't work hard, or vice versa, or whatever. I'm not trying to say rich people are more valuable or less valuable than poor people. I'm here under the assumption that the reason that you guys joined the masterclass is because you want more wealth in your family. You want more economic power. I'm under the assumption that the reason you're listening to me is because you see the value that economic control and economic power has in your life. Like that's what I'm here to help you with. That's what I'm here for. That's what I do. I'm a financial doctor, a financial scientist. So, if your goal is not to understand the financial world better, then I'm not your guy, right? So let me explain his comment and his quote and why some people might say this sort of thing, and give you a nuance, not so I can prove him wrong. I'm not trying to say he's wrong. I'm trying to basically help you understand why this appears to be an inherent contradiction. Because here's the thing. This is what I learned, when I did a lot of my research in graduate school, is that a lot of times you run into things that appear to be contradictions. You run into things that don't make sense. Like let's say that you see your mother, and your mother likes, let's say your mother's wearing flip-flops and it's cold outside. And now you can look at that and you can say, well, I mean, if she was smart, my mother must not be a smart person, because if she was smart, she wouldn't wear flip-flops in the cold. Like, who does that? Who wears flip-flops in 25-degree weather, right? So you could walk away and say, Daddy, I think something's wrong with Mom. I think Mama's ain't got it all, right? Or you could say, I think Mama's a smart person. So let me go find out why she would wear flip-flops in the wintertime. You follow me? So you can either make the assumption that Mama's crazy or stupid, or you can make the assumption that Mama knows something you don't know. Usually that's what happens. Usually when something appears to be a contradiction, it's not because the people who embrace that other idea are wrong or dumb. It's because they have a different perspective, right? So you may talk to your mother and find out, your mother may say, well, because I broke my big toe, or I sprained it, and I know it's cold, but I have to wear flip-flops because shoes hurt my feet too much, and I'm only walking to the car, right? So your mother would explain it, and then it makes sense. You see, in America, we don't do that anymore, because unfortunately we have kind of an anti-intellectualism that's kind of taken over our society, where people don't seek to understand, they seek to criticize, and the things they criticize are things they do not understand, the most. So if you're going to criticize something, at least understand it first before you criticize. We criticize before we understand. So for example, if I'm a Trump supporter and you support, Hillary, Joe Biden, or Obama, whoever, right? And I can look at you and be like, why would you support that person? What's wrong with you? You must be a big dummy. You must be an idiot, right? And that's fine. Or I could assume that maybe there's something about your perspective that leads you to feel that this candidate is best for you, right? So maybe you support Obama because your family, you had a relative die from a lack of healthcare options, and you want to make sure the Obamacare plan goes through, right? Or I know Black people who supported Trump, not because they're racist, not because they want to kill Black people. I mean, they're Black. They're not trying to destroy Black people. Maybe they just believe that abortion is wrong no matter what. So according to their faith, they say, look, I'm never going to vote for a candidate who doesn't believe, who believes that abortion is okay. I think it's their right to do that. I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm the outlier. Maybe I need to jump into the yelling, screaming matches and talk about how dumb people are and crazy or whatever right people are. But I don't want to do that. I prefer to accept something called freedom. And I believe people have the freedom to do what they want. So at the end of the day, here's the deal. So let's go back to Saleda's comment. Saleda's comment is that, that it's just simply that it's a myth that people are rich because of hard work. Yet nobody can explain. He says, actually, in American mythology, people are rich because of hard work. Yet nobody can explain why those who do all the actual labor have no money. So I'm going to explain why that contradiction exists and why people are confused by that. He is absolutely correct. In America, those who do the hardest work, who do the dirtiest work, who spend the most hours at work, tend to be people who make the least money. They tend to be the employees. They tend to be the garbage man. Like I remember I saw my poor garbage man when, in my place in Chicago, and I remember he would come through, and this poor brother would come through every day. And I mean, and those people would be so disrespectful. They just throw their stuff out there and it'd be all over the place, and he'd be out there cleaning it up. And I remember one day he had to carry this big old mattress. Some kid threw a mattress out and just left it out there, and he had to carry this big gigantic mattress and all this trash. And I remember helping him get the garbage to the truck, because I said, I can't leave this brother out here carrying all this mess by himself, right? And so if you want to measure like who had the rougher day that day, who has the tougher day on most days between me and him, it's definitely him. He definitely has a harder life than I do, because I wouldn't want to do that job every day. That would be very sad for me. Now, here's what is missing in that equation, in that statement. What's missing is that it's not so much about working hard. Everybody has to work hard at some point, I believe. If you're trying to, make $1 out of 15 cents, if you're trying to be on the come up, at some point you're going to have to pay a price. You're going to have to sacrifice at some level. At some point, there must be a sacrifice. Now, why is it that some people sacrifice at a certain level and they become extremely wealthy, and some people sacrifice at an even higher level and they don't become wealthy? Well, it's because it's not so much about working hard. It's about the timing of your hard work, as well as some would say, some like to call it working smart, although I'm cautious about using that term because I don't want to sound elitist. I'm not trying to say wealthy people are smarter. I know some dumb rich people. We all do. But there's something about the positioning of your hard work that makes a difference. Let me give you an example. When I was in college, I remember that I used to get a lot of shit from other students, black students actually, who made fun of me. They didn't bully me, but they made fun of me. You know, some girls wouldn't even date me because they thought I was too square. They thought I was square because I would be in the library. I would study 6 hours a day, 4 to 6 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week. I would go to the library on Saturday night. That was more important to me than going to the step show or going to the party. And I was very serious about my classes. I would take extra classes. I got a triple major. I got 2 bachelor's degrees, could have got 3. I just decided I didn't want to push myself too much, but I literally could have got 3 bachelor's degrees in a 4-year period. I had my second bachelor's degree, I think, at the end of my 3rd year in college, because I was that heated when it came to academic success. So what I would get was I would get questions like, you know, why are you so serious? Or why do you work so hard? You know, why don't you go and have fun? You know, da, da, da. And I basically would explain it like this. I said, in life, I know I'm going to have to work hard to get ahead. I learned that if you work hard early, then that means you get to be lazy later on, right? If I bust my ass right now, then when you finally have to go out and start working hard because you didn't prepare, I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to be chilling because I'm paying it forward. I'm paying the price now because, you know, since I am the top student, I'm going to get the best job offers. I'm going to understand economics better. I'm going to be able to position myself better so that later on, you'll be the hardworking person and I won't have to work as hard as you. Right. And then what happens is that later on down the line, when you see one person who's working 50 hours a week and they're not making very much money, another person's working 10 hours a week and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, a lot of times it's because that other person might have paid it forward. They might have made the sacrifice earlier. So rather than talking about it in terms of hard work, I would also talk about it in terms of hard work and sacrifice. So the question becomes, when you're talking about working hard, under the assumption that everybody that wants to achieve something is going to have to work hard, I want you to ask yourself and ask your children, young people, look, are you going to work hard with late nights of studying and instead of partying? So that later on in life, you won't have to work as hard as the people who partied while they were young and have to spend the rest of their life making up for the fact that they wasted their opportunities. When you work hard every day, are you going to work hard, sacrificing to build a business, or are you going to go looking for a paycheck? When I was building my business, I could have got bigger paychecks. There were jobs that were offered to me that paid me good money, but I passed that up. I sacrificed that so that I could possibly have a chance to have something that I own that's actually mine, where I would actually generate more wealth than I would working a job. When you talk about sacrifice in terms of what you do with your money, are you a person that's more likely to buy stock or more likely to buy a new pair of sneakers? A person more likely to make an investment, or a person that's more likely to get their hair done? Or a person is more likely to put some money into an asset, or a person is more likely to put that money into going out to dinner, going to see the Black Panther, going on vacation, or chilling, right? So ultimately, it's not just the hard work component, it's also the sacrifice. Warren Buffett explains very, very well, and I agree with this quote. He said that wealth is pretty much a transfer from impatient people to patient people. That basically patient people are the ones who say, no. I don't need mine right now. I'm okay. You go ahead and you enjoy, you have fun, drink up, have fun, go party, spend your money, live it up. I'm going to take this money and I'm going to be home Friday night because my money is going to go into my stock portfolio because I'm trying to build something up where I have a stronger investment vehicle that's going to give me long-term benefits. So, and I can tell you there are people like Andre C. Hatchett and my friend S.T. Brown who told me about how they were determined to become homeowners, even though they didn't make very much money. Andre was making $15 an hour. He was 21 years old. And when all the other young brothers were running around taking their little money and blowing it and just, doing whatever with it, he counted every penny of his money. He said, for 2 years, I'm going to put myself through hell to count every penny. I'm not going out. I'm going to save as much as I can so I can get that down payment on that first home so I can make that leap into going from being renter to owner. And that's what he did. He made that sacrifice many years ago. And now, years later, he can say, I'm a homeowner. right? And it wasn't because he got lucky. It was because he made a sacrifice. So what you must ask yourself all the time is, what are you sacrificing? Where is your sacrifice? Or are you sacrificing now so you can have something in the future? Or are you a person who's paying back a debt? Maybe you enjoyed life early, right? I got a lot of friends in college. When I told them, that's when I said, hey, let's go to the library. They didn't want to go to the library. They want to go to the party. And years later, they're in the struggle. They're struggling. And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, I remember back when I used to, when I would try to get you to go study with me, I tried to get you to go to college. When I left for college, you didn't want to go to college. You said you don't like school. And I said to you, I don't like school either, but I don't like being broke for the rest of my life either. So I'm going to go ahead and live a few years like nobody else will, so I can spend the rest of my life like nobody else can. So that goes back to that quote. So let me read that quote again, and we can read the quote under the context of new understanding based on what we just discussed. Not to say that I'm right and he's wrong. You can believe what you want to believe. It's totally fine. I'm not going to take offense to that. But let's pay attention. In American mythology, people are rich because of hard work. Yet nobody can explain why those who do all the actual labor have no money. That's not true that no one can explain it. I can explain it to you exactly. It's not just about working smart and work and sacrificing. It also comes down to the fact that you live in a capitalist society, where those who do certain kinds of work are going to get big rewards, and those who do other kinds of work are going to get small rewards. Now, that's more of an immoral issue that you can decide how you feel about that on your own. I'm not going to sit here and put the capitalist system on trial or say that we should be socialists or whatever. That's totally fine, whatever you believe. But I'm going to say that's part of the reason why. That's why I did not want to be on the wrong side of a capitalist system, because it's not fair to those who are doing a lot of the work. So I would say to you as Black people, you do not want to have your economic destiny controlled by greedy capitalists who aren't going to care about you and your family. My belief is that you should take control of that by doing the three pillars of wealth we talk about in the Black Business School. Real estate, learn about real estate, learn about stocks and bonds, and also learn about entrepreneurship. Teach your sons and your daughters about how to start a business. Your sons and your daughters, if they know more about how to twerk than they know about how to start a business, then don't be surprised when your child is broke. If your child can throw a football or dribble a basketball better than they can invest in the stock market, then don't be surprised when they're a broke basketball player. We got plenty of those floating around all over the place. If your child can sing, dance, rap, or play sports better than they know how to buy a home or buy property, then guess what? They won't own any property, right? And then so really what you must understand is that these are not complicated ideas. It's a very simple decision. But what's difficult is not so much knowing what to do. The difficulty is breaking bad habits that were implanted in you since slavery. It's like when I wanted to lose weight. I started losing weight a couple of years ago when I started running. I'm training for this marathon, but I wanted to lose weight 7 years ago. But I knew exactly what to do. I just need to stop eating candy and start running every day. So even though I knew I needed to do it, I was a slave to my habits. I was enslaved by my habits. So most of you in this room right now, many of you are a slave to your habits. And so what has to happen is that slavery, that oppression has to just crush you to the point where you just say, I'm tired of it. I can't live like this anymore. And that's what had to happen. I had to hit rock bottom before I finally said, okay, all right, I submit, I surrender. Almost like in church, you surrender to Jesus. Like I surrendered to the fact that I said, I can't live like this no more. The old voice must die. I got to go kill that son of a bitch because he is holding me back, and he's going to put me in a grave if I don't go ahead and make a decision. So I handed my life and my choices over to other people that I knew who were going to force me to change my habits and start doing things differently. So you got to figure out where you're going to surrender the old you. You need to go ahead and commit a homicide. You need to find the old version of you, kill that son of a bitch because they're holding you back, and you need to go and have your own funeral and experience a rebirth. Pick one thing that you hate about yourself, one thing that bothers you about your old habits, one thing that's just keeping you from moving forward, and just go after that one thing and you need to kill that part of you that's committed to that one thing. If you do that, then you're going to find your life changing constantly. But it's hard to do. It's hard to change your life. It's hard to change habits. That's why so few people do it, but everybody talks about it. So there you go. So that's my 2 cents on his commentary. Again, I'm not here to disagree with him. So if anybody watches the video and says Boyce hates poor people, or Boyce is just saying the rich people are special and perfect and wonderful, that's not true. I'm just giving you a point of view that will help you to make decisions and to win in your own life. All right. So by the way, I want to remind everybody that this weekend, if you want to learn how to become a property owner, Jullien Gordon in the Black Business School is doing a free masterclass on basic called the Emancipation Equation. We've done it before, but this time we're doing the real estate version. And so if you want to join us in the Emancipation Equation event, where we're going to talk about becoming a property owner and where you can rent property and make income that way, go ahead and sign up at theemancipationequation.com. THE, I'll type it in, theemancipationequation.com. And somebody could also type that in or make sure people know this in the chat. I would appreciate that as well. So so what we're going to do is we're going to get started here on some other stuff. If you guys want to see any recordings of any of the lectures we've done in the masterclass, all you got to do is log in at drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. All masterclass students, if you want to join the Black Stock Market program, which is our longer term program, which goes on and on forever, as long as you want me as your investment mentor, you can join that program. You can switch over. So you can actually go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com and you can actually get a 50% discount by using the password Powernomics. So let me type that in. That's the stock market program, theblackstockmarketprogram.com, THE, theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Use the code word Powernomics, you get 50% off. Also, I am really, I'm pleading with you to at least consider enrolling your children into business school at an early age. I don't care if they're 5 years old. It's never too early to start. And we have all the tools. We have our Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program, which is the digital component, which has self-study exams and a degree that the child can get and put on their wall. Also, there are the workbooks. We have financial workbooks and financial flashcards that you can use in conjunction with the digital program. All this was invented by us. All this was created for Black children. All this was created to a point where if your child knows all this material, they're gonna know economics better than every business school student out here. 98% of all business school students will not know economic concepts the way your child will know them, and that really is a secret weapon that I created just for the Black community, and I know that it works because you guys know what I do. That I remind people that I have a PhD in finance, so they don't think I'm just some guy talking. Forgive me for saying that, but it took me a long time to get that degree, and I want to make sure you guys benefit from that as much as possible. So feel free to go check that out at financialworkbooks.com. That's financialworkbooks.com. And if you have any questions or any issues at all with anything that you ever invest in with our company, customer service is very important. So all you have to do is email support@theblackbusinessschool.com, support@theblackbusinessschool.com, and they will take good care of you. They will always make sure that you're happy. All right, guys. So let me go ahead.